Hello, young artists. Today we're going to learn some new vocabulary words and we're going to review some words I bet you already know. We have been learning about a horizon line in a landscape, but wait a minute, this isn't a landscape, this is a still life. Last week we drew a line, we skipped a little space, and we made a vase with flowers in it. Today we're going to look at another piece of artwork by Vincent van Gogh, but it's going to be a landscape. Here are the words that we're going to learn today, and we're going to review the ones that I think you already know. Horizon line is that line in a landscape between the land and the sky. We don't want to leave an empty white space or blank paper in between the land and the sky. We use that in a landscape, and in a still life, you would use a line maybe to show the edge of the table. When you draw an object below that line, it gives your drawing a sense of depth or space, so it doesn't look like the vase is going to fall off of that line. So this week, we want to draw a neighborhood. I bet you already know what a neighborhood is. I live in a neighborhood. I have neighbors that live around me in houses kind of close to me. You might live in a neighborhood. You might live on a hill and you can see houses below you. You might live in a valley and you can see houses above you. Where I live, it's kind of flat and I have houses right next to me at eye level. An artist thinks about where things are in space when they draw. I'm going to use 3 kinds of lines today to draw houses. I want you to think about these new words. You don't have to spell them, but I want you to kind of understand them when I say them. A diagonal line is a line that slants. It looks like it's going down the slide. It can go this other way too. Like if you make the letter X, you are making diagonal lines. A vertical line is a line that stands up tall, like these pink stripes. Telephone poles are supposed to be vertical. They stand up tall, like the number 11. A horizontal line lays down. It goes across. If I cover this up, you see the word horizon, just like in the word horizon line. I'm going to move this over to the side a little bit. I'm going to move this still life. This is a still life. I'm going to move it out of the way, and I'm going to start with a fresh piece of paper. I'm going to be drawing today right here, but I want to show you 2 landscapes first. This landscape has a neighborhood in it. It's also, we could call it a mountainscape. This shows a road and houses in a small neighborhood around a mountain lake. We see one side of the house here. We see an interesting roof and a chimney. We see one side of the house here, and we see some chimneys. We see another house here. It's behind this house. So this is how this artist has put space into this landscape. And across the lake, we see 2 more houses. These are small and dark, so it might be hard for you to see. But most of these just show one side of the house, like if you were looking straight at it. I want to show you another way, and it's a Vincent van Gogh landscape. This painting is by Gabriel Munter, a German artist. And this is another landscape by Vincent van Gogh. It has a horizon line way up here with some mountains. It has some buildings like a town or a village very far away, so they're very small, and they're up high. And then it has some farm buildings or houses here. And I want you to notice we see 2 sides of the building, and I'm going to show you how to draw it that way today. I'm going to grab my Sharpie, and I'm going to show you a way a lot of really young artists draw a house. They make a square, or a rectangle. Notice how I pick up my marker. That keeps me from making my corners round. And they draw a roof like this. And then they draw a big door. And then they draw a window up really high. And a big doorknob. Now there's nothing wrong with that. Oh, let me show you something else you often see is a chimney that goes out at an angle. So I want to show you something else that copies nature or the way that we see things in real life a little bit better. I'm going to make my rectangle. I always kind of pick up my marker. It helps me keep my corners nice. And I'm going to draw the same kind of roof like this. I want to do the door and the windows just a little bit differently. This would be a small one-story house. I'm going to put the door in the middle. I'm going to make the doorknob very small. I'm going to put the top of the window the same height as that door. When we go in a house, the window is not up above the door. It's in line with the door. Even in my classroom today, the windows are the same height or as tall as the door, like that. So this makes a little bit more sense than this. And I'm going to add a chimney. A chimney would be vertical, straight up and down. If it was leaning or diagonal, it would fall over. So I want to practice making it straight up and down and a little bit taller than the top of the roof. I made a little mark there on accident and I can't erase it because it's a Sharpie. I hope you're using a pencil. Let me show you a couple of more ways to draw houses, and then we're going to have that challenge at the end like Vincent van Gogh did here. So right in here, I'm going to show you a couple more ideas for drawing houses. I want to make a house that's a little bit bigger, and I'm going to change the roof. I'm still going to make a rectangle. I'm going to add a door in the middle. Tiny doorknob, just like this house. I'm going to put a window on either side. The house that I live in is very small, and it looks a lot like this. But I'm going to change the way the roof looks. I'm going to angle it in a little bit. I'm using a diagonal line. Now I want to make a diagonal line that goes the other way. And then the roof top goes straight across like that. So for the roof here and here, I'm using a horizontal line. For the sides of the house, vertical lines. If you want to add a chimney, the chimney might come out here at the front of the house. So I would add it in like that. If I wanted to show the bricks, I would add horizontal lines and then just a few vertical lines to show how that's made of different little bricks like that. If I want to make a 2-story house, I have to slow down and plan it out just a little bit better. I'm going to go over that mark and ignore it. I hope you'll just ignore that. And I want to make the house a little taller. I'm going to give it a roof like this. I want to go halfway, not too high, and make the door here. I want to put the window in line like that, not above the door. I'm going to add a detail here in the window. I might add a little window in the door like that and then put the doorknob over there. Now if this house had a second floor, I would have windows up here. And I might put a little window above the door, and I'm going to put an arch in that window that's a curve. And then I would balance it out maybe with another window over here. I can add some detail on the roof by showing that it has a design with the roof tiles or shingles. I'm just making a scallop. This is a curve that repeats over and over. And this gives it a nice little detail. Now, I'm gonna go into this challenge. I wanna show two sides of the house, as if you can see where there is a corner on the house, and you can see the front and a little bit of the side. So I really need to know my diagonal, my vertical, and my horizontal to do this. And I want you to notice how these orange stripes that I made are parallel, like that. They go in the same direction. I'm gonna need to use that idea to make a house kind of like these that show both sides. First, I'm just going to draw the front or one side of the house. Super easy, just like I did that one. Now here comes the harder part. I'm gonna pick one side, only one side, not both sides. I'm gonna pick the left side because I'm left-handed and I'm using my left hand and you can see it better. I'm going to make a diagonal line. It is not straight. Let me show you what not to do. Do not do this. That looks a little better than this. It's a little more interesting, but don't do this. Don't do this. I'm gonna start again. I'm gonna draw a basic house. I'm not even adding windows or doors yet. Down here, I'm gonna go up. I'm gonna make a diagonal line. Now I need to go up here and make it diagonal as well. And it's gonna go at the same angle. So it's gonna look kind of like this. These are diagonal lines. I'm gonna make the roof diagonal too. These all go up at the same angle. Now I need to finish it. I'm gonna make this vertical. This would be the back corner of the house. It should be just like these lines, straight up and down vertical. Then this diagonal line, I'm gonna copy that same angle and go that way for the back of the roof. Here's another challenge. The front part is easy. You do it just like you did these. I might make this look like a two-story house with a door on the side and two windows and two windows on the second story or top story of the house. When you do the windows, oh, this is harder. The sides are vertical or straight up and down, but the top and bottom are gonna be also diagonal, like the top and bottom of the side of the house. So this will be one window. The sides are straight up and down or vertical. The top and the bottom are diagonal at an angle. I'm gonna add another window at the top, like that. That makes a little bit more sense. If I want to have a chimney on this side of the roof, I won't see the bottom of it, and it will go at an angle like that. And then I could show the front like this. You almost might be able to see down into the top of it a little bit, like that. That's a little bit harder to do. So if you look closely, these houses kind of go like that, except what did Vincent van Gogh do? He went on the other side. And that's something that you might want to try. We see the front of the house or the end, and then we see the right side, so that's one way. In my drawing, you see the end or the front of the house and the left side. This is a little challenge for you in your sketchbook to see if you can maybe, instead of drawing like this or like this, you could try these. Give it a try in your sketchbook, add some details, and if you like, color it in. I'll see you next time, young artists.